Tunde Balogun, later known as Shadow, was born in the slums of Mushin, Lagos, a place where dreams were often crushed before they could even take shape. His father was a struggling mechanic, and his mother sold akara by the roadside, barely making enough to feed their 5 children. Life was tough, and in the unforgiving streets of Lagos, only the smartest survived. Tunde learned this the hard way at the age of 8 when his father died in an accident at his workshop. The family plunged into deeper poverty, and soon, hunger became his closest companion. His mother worked tirelessly, but the money was never enough. By 10, Tunde had already mastered the art of pickpocketing, not out of greed but out of necessity. His first theft was from a fruit seller. Stomach growling from hunger, he slipped an orange into his pocket while pretending to inspect bananas. The thrill of not getting caught excited him, but more importantly, it put food in his belly. Over time, his skills sharpened. He no longer stole out of hunger, he stole because he was good at it. By the time he was 16, Tunde was no longer just a petty thief. He had joined a group of street boys who specialized in more sophisticated crimes, snatching bags, robbing houses, and even setting up fake scams. His agility, intelligence, and ability to disappear into thin air earned him the nickname Shadow. Aisha Bello grew up in a different part of Lagos, Ikorodu. Unlike Shadow, her early years were stable, though far from luxurious. Her father was a police officer, strict and disciplined, while her mother was a teacher. From an early age, Aisha was expected to excel in her studies and uphold the family's reputation. But life had other plans. At age 13, tragedy struck. Her father was killed in a shootout with armed robbers. The pain of losing him was unbearable, but what broke her completely was how quickly her family was abandoned. The police force gave them nothing, and her mother struggled to keep them afloat. Aisha's bitterness grew when she saw the same criminals who had killed her father roaming free, living in wealth while her family suffered. She swore never to be a victim again. She taught herself how to pick locks, how to blend in, and, most importantly, how to manipulate people. By 15, she had become a skilled con artist, swindling men who underestimated her beauty and charm. She wasn't just stealing for survival, she was stealing for power. At 17, Shadow pulled off his first major operation. A large electronics market in Lagos was his target. He had learned that traders kept their cash in small wooden boxes under their stalls. While pretending to be a customer, he slipped under one of the tables, expertly cutting the lock of the money box with a blade hidden in his sleeve. Before the seller realized, Shadow had disappeared into the crowd, leaving with over 150,000 Nigerian nairas. It was his first big payday. Shadow's reputation grew, and soon he set his sights on bigger targets. One evening, he attended a political rally, blending in with the crowd. He spotted a local government chairman, heavily guarded but distracted by his speech. In a single swift movement, Shadow unbuckled the man's expensive Rolex and melted back into the sea of people. The watch was worth millions, and he sold it on the black market, using the money to expand his operations. By 22, Shadow wasn't just a street thief, he was a master. One night, he infiltrated a private art gallery in Lekki, bypassing the security alarms with knowledge he had learned from an old mentor. He stole 3 rare paintings, selling them for a small fortune. This job cemented his status as one of Lagos' most untouchable criminals. Shadow thought he had seen it all until the night he met Aisha outside a luxury restaurant. He approached her with his usual charm, but before he could make his move, she had already stolen his wallet. For the first time, the thief had been robbed. Aisha wasn't just a beautiful woman, she was his equal. She had grown up learning how to outsmart men, and now, she had stolen the attention of Lagos' greatest thief. They became partners in crime, but over time, something deeper developed. As Shadow and Aisha spent more time together, their lives of crime became less about the thrill and more about survival. They began talking about escape, leaving Lagos, starting over, and living a life where they weren't constantly looking over their shoulders. One night, after a successful heist, they sat by the Third Mainland Bridge, watching the city lights flicker on the water. Shadow turned to Aisha. "Let's live this life. You and me. No more stealing. Aisha smiled, a soft sadness in her eyes. You're willing to give up everything? For you, he whispered. Yes. Aisha leaned in and kissed him. Then I guess I just pulled off the greatest heist of all. Shadow frowned. Which heist? She placed a hand over his chest. I stole the heart of Lagos' greatest thief. Shadow and Aisha's story wasn't just about crime, it was about transformation. Both had turned to stealing as a means of survival, shaped by the harsh realities of their childhoods. But in each other, they found something more valuable than money or power, which is love and redemption. Their past was tainted with crime, but their future held possibilities they had never imagined. But one thing was certain, the greatest thief in Lagos was finally at peace, not because he stole something, but because something greater was stolen from him, his heart.